There have been unconfirmed rumors for at least a month that Stevie Wonder has been on dialysis and traveling with a medical team.
Legendary Stevie Wonder has just officially bid farewell after a devastating illness diagnosis.
You say to me, Stevie, look, I have to be treated immediately. I've got to have surgery.
Putting an end to his brilliant career to the shock of the whole world.
So what's going to happen is this. I'm going to have surgery.
This sudden and devastating news has left even his most loyal fans heartbroken. The blind genius of the music world seems to be facing a life-or-death battle he cannot win.
How can we do this? I need surgery right away. And I say to you, I can do it.
Is this the final farewell to an immortal icon? This truth is so terrifying that it overshadows all the glory he once built. Prepare yourself, because what follows will surpass everything you ever knew about him. Just turning 21, Stevland Hardaway Morris took a decisive step that changed the entire operational structure of the Motown empire when his old contract officially expired. He demanded the full return of the $1 million from his trust fund, accumulated throughout his youth, and resolutely refused to sign any further binding creative rights clauses that were already too restrictive. Instead of adhering to the label's formula for producing hit singles, the young artist used his own money to rent a private studio, beginning bold experiments with the massive Tonto synthesizer system. The release of the albums Where I'm Coming From and Music of My Mind established a completely new artistic identity. Where the artist held absolute control from songwriting and arrangement to production. This creative flow quickly matured through iconic musical projects such as Talking Book and Inner Visions. He no longer wrote disjointed songs, but instead multi-layered sonic concepts, combining traditional R&B with the complex structures of funk and jazz. These melodies quickly propelled him from the label of child prodigy to a globally influential musical architect. At the height of his career, a serious medical incident occurred unexpectedly one August afternoon in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. While traveling on the highway, the sedan he was in collided violently with the rear of a lumber truck that had stopped abruptly. A long log pierced the windshield, striking the artist directly in the forehead and causing him to fall into a deep coma that lasted 4 days and nights. Doctors at the local hospital diagnosed him with a severe brain contusion, an injury that could have been fatal or permanently paralyzed without immediate intervention. Upon waking amidst layers of white bandages, he faced the devastating consequence of completely losing his sense of smell and taste due to nerve damage. His recovery was slow, marked by persistent headaches and a large permanent scar on his forehead, a testament to his near-death experience. While his sense of taste and smell gradually returned after months of intensive treatment, his inner world underwent profound changes in his perception of life. He returned to the recording studio with an incredible intensity, releasing works such as Fulfillingness's first finale and, notably, the double album Songs in the Key of Life. They can feel it all over. This string of achievements earned him 3 Grammy Awards for Album of the Year in just 4 years, a unique record in the history of 1970s music. Nevertheless, his focus on art began to give way to greater social responsibilities as he realized the power of his individual voice on the issues of the time. Political upheavals and changes in his family structure began to place new burdens on his shoulders, extending beyond the confines of the recording studio. Global agenda. His brilliant musical career began to shift to a new trajectory, as the artist's influence transcended the boundaries of mere entertainment melodies. In the early 1980s, he devoted all his efforts to a large-scale political campaign, using the power of the media to demand that the U.S. government recognize the birthday of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. as a national holiday. The song Happy Birthday, released in 1980, was not just a commercial hit, but became a powerful manifesto, prompting millions of signatures to be sent to Congress. After years of persistent persuasion, this effort bore fruit when President Ronald Reagan officially signed the bill in 1983, marking a historic victory for the civil rights movement he led. His voice resonated far beyond his home country, reaching South Africa during the height of the apartheid regime. His public criticism of the government led to a radical decision in 1985 when all his music was banned from radio stations nationwide. Nevertheless, this ban only increased his international standing, evidenced by his Oscar win for I Just Called to Say I Love You. His tireless humanitarian and political activities gradually shaped the image of a steadfast social activist, using his voice to fill the gaps in justice. Behind the glamour of his global campaigns, his personal life was complex and turbulent, with little revealed about his family relationships. After his first marriage to singer Syreeta Wright ended amicably, he embarked on new romantic paths, resulting in 9 children from different women. He always strived to keep his private life hidden from media scrutiny, creating a strict protective veil around his family. The dispersion between the responsibilities of a father and the pressures of being a cultural icon began to create silent pressures on his daily life. At the same time, the relationship between the artist and the long-established record label Motown Records began to show deep cracks financially. In 1989, a shocking lawsuit erupted when he accused the record label of failing to transparently pay royalties according to agreements made decades earlier. This legal battle lasted for years, eroding trust between two entities once considered symbols of unity in the music industry. These disputes extended beyond direct revenue to encompass control over the use of old material in the new era of music. Facing the wave of hip-hop that is changing the face of world music, Stevie Wonder still maintains his strict standards of integrity. I always demand absolute originality and cleanliness in my lyrics. With Gangsta's Paradise, I only agreed to license the melody after Coolio committed to completely removing all profanity from the recording. You know, money can be measured, but integrity in music is something that can never be negotiated. I'd rather face isolation in a rapidly changing market than see my message tainted. This affirmation is not just a professional rule, but also a declaration of an artist's responsibility to cultural heritage. While many stars are willing to compromise for revenue and reach, Stevie Wonder chooses to stand outside the whirlwind of commercialization to protect the spiritual value of music. As the legal storm subsided, the artist began to face irreparable emotional losses from his dearest loved ones. The silences in the studio grew longer, signaling a new chapter fraught with challenges to both his health and career. Diagnosed at Hyde Park. Entering the third millennium, the artist's pace slowed as he faced immense personal losses. In 2001, the passing of Lula Mae Hardaway, his mother and trusted companion during his early days in Detroit, left an irreplaceable emotional void. These upheavals continued to escalate when his second marriage to fashion designer Kai Millard Morris broke down, leading to a prolonged separation and a formal divorce in 2012. After these turbulent periods, he found new peace with his third wife, Tamika Bracy, in a private ceremony in 2017. Although new musical releases are no longer as frequent as before, his legacy continues to be affirmed through the highest honors on a global scale. After releasing his final studio album, A Time to Love, in the mid-decade, he dedicated much of his time to humanitarian missions as a United Nations ambassador for peace. In this role, he focused intensely on improving living conditions and access to education for people with disabilities worldwide. In recognition of his enduring contributions, President Barack Obama personally awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor bestowed upon a U.S. citizen. Nevertheless, behind the radiant smiles at award ceremonies lay a reality of declining health due to age and chronic complications. Tours began to feature longer breaks, and the presence of medical support backstage became an integral part of his schedule. The anxieties of his fans reached a peak when internal sources began leaking information about him undergoing regular dialysis treatments to sustain his life. These rumors were finally confirmed directly by a shocking announcement on stage before tens of thousands of spectators. During a performance at the Hyde Park Festival in London, amidst the vibrant music, the artist unexpectedly asked the band to pause to deliver a momentous personal announcement. With a calm voice, carrying the weight of a life-or-death decision, he shared that he would perform 3 final shows before pausing his entire career to undergo a kidney transplant. After many hours on the operating table in December 2019, the transplant was successful without any complex medical complications. He spent the following months in intensive care, completely isolated from public life, to ensure his body adapted to the new organ. This recovery then spurred him to make pivotal decisions, breaking free from old constraints to seek complete creative freedom. These new steps in a rapidly changing business environment placed him in the position of a pioneer, even though he was over 70 years old. The emergence of digital platforms and the uncontrolled spread of information began to create new layers of fog overshadowing his next journey. Leaving Motown, a miraculous recovery from major surgery spurred the artist to undertake a radical overhaul of his career structure, which had been established for over half a century. In 2020, he officially announced the end of his 6-decade-long partnership with Motown Records to establish an independent record label called So What the Fuss Records. This move was not just a change in paperwork, but a declaration of absolute autonomy in the modern era of digital music distribution. Soon after, the release of new singles under his own label proved that his creative capacity had not been diminished by medical setbacks or age. Entering 2024, he continues to maintain a strong presence in pivotal events in American social life. The song, Can We Fix Our Nation's Broken Heart, was born as a call for healing, leading to an inspiring live performance at the Democratic National Convention that August. The image of him standing before thousands of delegates, confidently conducting the orchestra and showcasing his powerful voice, shattered any doubts about his eventual retreat into obscurity. His steady steps on the grand stage were the most vivid proof of an artistic entity that continues to move forward. By mid-2025, his Love, Light and Song tour in the UK once again affirmed his enduring appeal to international audiences. At stops like Hyde Park and Cardiff, he not only delivered music, but also directly confronted public opinion regarding his personal condition. In a witty interaction on stage, he frankly refuted the unfounded theories that he was not actually born blind. This action demonstrates a proactive approach to managing his personal image, ensuring that the public always receives the most accurate information directly from the subject. Facts up to March and April 2026 provided an optimistic outlook on his current life. He appeared energetic at the NAMM show, an international music equipment exhibition, to experience the latest audio technologies for the visually impaired. Just a few days later, audiences in Los Angeles witnessed an impromptu collaboration between him and artist P.J. Morton, where his harmonica playing was still sharp and emotional. Those in the audience noted that his demeanor and performance remained at the peak of his mastery. Faced with speculation about his next move, Stevie Wonder affirmed his status as a legend of action rather than words. "I choose to let my music and my live presence answer all the public's questions. Right now, I'm devoting my full attention to the Global Citizen Live campaign later this year. My goal isn't just music, but promoting social welfare programs globally. I believe that when we sing together, we must also act together for a better future for everyone. By making Global Citizen Live the central focus, he skillfully shifted public attention from personal disputes to higher humanitarian values. The busy studio schedule and long-term projects demonstrate a broad vision, where the concept of retirement seems non-existent in the artist's vocabulary. These tireless efforts stemmed from a resilience forged through the harshest challenges from the very moment of his birth. That unwavering fortitude was not simply the will of a successful artist, but the fruit of a journey of struggle for survival and self-affirmation from absolute darkness. All the glory and overcoming of adversity that the world witnessed later found their most satisfying answer in a small incubator in Michigan more than 70 years ago. That boundless energy continued to flow silently through every note, beginning with the initial rejections, which he transformed into the greatest stepping stones of his career. Saginaw incubation. The source of all musical resilience and fortitude began with a tragic medical incident in May 1950 in Saginaw, Michigan. Steveland Hardaway Judkins was born 6 weeks premature, forcing doctors to place him in an incubator to sustain him under limited medical conditions. The use of excessively high and uncontrolled oxygen levels in a confined environment led to retinopathy of prematurity, causing retinal detachment and resulting in permanent vision loss. Instead of succumbing to the darkness that enveloped him from his very first breath, the child developed an unusually keen sense of hearing, connecting him to the world around him. The family moved to Detroit after his parents' marriage broke down, where he began to reveal his innate musical talent by experimenting with the instruments available at home. In just a few short years, he mastered the piano, harmonica, and drums without any formal training. His energetic performances in the choir at the Whitestone Baptist Theater and on Detroit's streets with his close friend John Glover quickly attracted the attention of local talent scouts. Nevertheless, the path to professional fame was not as smooth as many imagined for a prodigy. At his first audition with Ronnie White of the Miracles, the then 11-year-old boy faced skepticism from the Motown record label's management. Concerns about the risks of training and managing such a young, visually impaired artist caused the initial offer to stall for a short time. It wasn't until Berry Gordy, the head of the record label, personally witnessed his exceptional multi-instrumental abilities that a 5-year contract was officially signed under the stage name Little Stevie Wonder. All profits from his hit singles during this period were held in a trust fund until he reached adulthood, while the child artist received only a meager allowance of $2.50 a week to cover living expenses. His seemingly flourishing career was suddenly hit by a serious identity crisis when Stevie entered adolescence in the late 60s. The abrupt change in his voice from a high-pitched childlike voice to the deep tones of an adult led Motown to seriously consider terminating his contract, believing that his commercial value had run out. This period marked one of the bleakest turning points in Stevie Wonder's early career, arriving at a time when he was only starting to shape a sound that truly belonged to him. After the initial excitement surrounding Little Stevie Wonder began to fade, the music industry's attention shifted quickly, and the expectations placed on him became increasingly unforgiving. There was real pressure to keep producing hits, and when that momentum slowed, the risk of being pushed aside grew stronger. For a young artist trying to evolve beyond his childhood image, this was not only a professional crisis, but also a personal struggle, as he fought to be taken seriously as a creative force. In the middle of this uncertainty, producer Sylvia Moy stepped in with a crucial opportunity. She helped guide the creation of Uptight, Everything's All Right, a song that did far more than climb the charts. It reignited public interest, restored confidence within the label, and reminded everyone that Stevie Wonder was not simply a talented singer who had gotten lucky early on. The energy, rhythm, and emotional drive of the track reflected a deeper artistic instinct that could not be ignored. The success of Uptight became a defining breakthrough. It protected his career at a moment when it could have easily collapsed, and proved that his strength came from his imagination and musical direction. The song showed that his appeal was rooted in vision, originality, and a growing ability to shape the future of soul music. The story of Stevie Wonder is therefore never a farewell, but always a new chapter written with the sounds of eternal hope. After traversing a long journey from his early days in obscurity in Saginaw to his life-or-death situations and powerful rebirth at 70, we realize that Stevie Wonder never truly said goodbye. If you also admire the extraordinary resilience of this legend, please like and share this video to spread positive values instead of false rumors. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next in-depth stories about other influential figures. Specifically, please leave your comments below. Which Stevie Wonder song has inspired you the most? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, goodbye, and see you on our next journey.